Hello, BookTube. This is Alan. I was going through my gray tub. I have actually 3 gray tubs. It's the top board. And I was going to look for a book that I need for a tag for tomorrow. I've been tagged twice. And one tag, which is unusual for me. I was going to wait for another person to tag me in the same tag, but I don't want to get my hopes up. So I thought I'd go through this one of the tubs and show you what books that are in there. This is Prince Lestat, The Vampire Chronicles by Anne Rice. It's published by Knopf Publishers, Alfred Knopf, and came out in 2014. This is the first edition, and it's also autographed by Anne Rice. She was at a half-price bookstore, and I waited for like 3 hours to get her autograph. I was number 320 out of 400, so I had a long wait. The next one is another Anne Rice book, The Vampire Lestat. Basically, on the Vampire Chronicles of Anne Rice, the first 5 of them were good. The rest of them, no. And so, yeah, The Vampire Lestat, which was printed in 1996 by Knopf. So you're going to get a lot of Anne Rice books and a lot of Stephen King books in here. This is the paperback version of her first Vampire Chronicles novel, which is Interview with the Vampire. The Vampire Chronicles. This is a mass market paperback. And this one came out, yeah, see, it says book 1 of the Vampire Chronicles. It came out in 1976. This one did. I gotta show you something on this one. On this one here, she has in the back an informal guide to the Vampire Chronicles. So you have Interview with Vampire, Vampire Lestat, Queen of the Damned, Tell the Body Thief, Midmark the Devil, and Pandora, and I won't go through all of these. They only list 13 here. I think she did like 2 more. So there you go. This is a Vampire Lestat. This is paperback, mass market paperback edition. And I wanted to get the see, it says book 2 of the Vampire Chronicles right there. I wanted to get the wanted to get it in a hardback, so I did. And Valentine's Press came out in 1985, paperback edition. The hardback probably came out earlier. They usually do. This is Midmark the Devil. I enjoyed this one. I think this is one of my favorites of the Vampire Chronicles by Anne Rice. And so this one, I think she started with the cover design with the artwork on it. This was this one here came out in let's check, 1995. So it came out in 1995. I think this is when she started the artwork on the covers of the book. This is Blood Canticle by Anne Rice. The Vampire Chronicles, of course. And this one came out in 2003. So there's the kind of wraparound artwork there. This is Blood and Gold and Rice. These are all by Knopf or Kopf publishers. This one came out in 2001. I haven't read this one yet. Did I read this one? I'm trying to think. Artwork on the cover. This is a book I haven't read. This is last year. And it has different blurbs on the back. This might be a book club edition of Literary Guild Main Selection. I think it is a book club edition. Came out in 93. In 1993. I think this is a book club edition. This is the Ruins by Scott Smith. Mass market paperback by Vintage. This came out in see what year it came out. Vintage Books. This came out in 2007. So it's first. Haven't read that one. This is a biography of Eisenhower. Dwight David Eisenhower. It's okay. It's not that great. And explores more of his when he's in the army and World War II than he does his presidency. This is one volume. Michael Korda. First edition. And this one came out in 2007. It actually starts with the D-Day. And then goes back in time to when Ike was born and was growing up. And pictures in the army. And then into World War II. And it was good. And I bought this at a thrift store. It was like $1.50 or something like that. So it's a little over 700 pages. I'll get this one out. And this is The People's History of the United States by Howard Zinda. This is by the New Press. And this one came out and reprinted in 2003. First came out in 1980. It was actually someone at the job I had loaned me this book, and before I could give it back to him, he was already been dismissed. This next book is the next book. All the rest of the books are Stephen King's. This is Christine. But I tried to take a sticker off and it damaged it. And Viking Press is Stephen King on the back cover. Yeah, this one came out in 1983. And I've never read this one. Never read Christine. This one here is The Bazaar of Bad Dreams. You know, it has real cool covers on his books. Here's the back cover of it. A little closer so you can see. And this is just a couple of the short stories. I saw a YouTube video. This is by Scribner. And 2015. I saw a YouTube video of Stephen King when he was talking, and he was actually giving a story. He was telling a story of a short story, and that's what these are. They're just short stories, and he's better at short stories than he is novels, I believe. One called Afterlife. He was giving that at a session, or no, and it was some type of event, and he was reading Afterlife, and he just ends it, and so I bought the book trying to figure out, okay, how does it end, and not a very good ending to me. This book is Needful Things. I'm going to give this book away, try to drop it off at the free little library down the street. And basically it's around 680 pages. People walk into the store, getting something and walking out. Going in, getting something and walking out. Going in, getting something and walking out. And nothing happens at the end. This is 1991 copyright. I didn't enjoy that one at all. This is The Dark Half, Stephen King, a picture of him on the back. This might be a book club edition, I'm not sure. Viking Press. First published in 1989. And, let's see. I actually got this book, and the reason I got this one, I wasn't interested in it until a gentleman, I was looking at Ignatius Press, which is the Catholic press publication, Roman Catholic, and they were asked the questions about their favorite book, or what are you going to read for Christmas, and one of the persons mentioned The Dark Half, and he did it as a religious connotations that we all have a dark half because of the sin in the heart of the person. And so, The Dark Half. I enjoyed that one. This is Storm of the Century. This is actually the screenplay. And it says back here, the original screenplay by Stephen King, and they made it into a book. This is the ex-library copy, and it came out in 1999. As you can see, it's screenplay, and basically it. Oh, they did have a picture from the, I think it's from the TV show or the movie version of it. So, see, it's a screenplay. That's all it is. The next one is The Shining by Stephen King. A new novel by the author Carrie and Salem's Lot. They wouldn't have those on the other books by Stephen King, as you can tell. You know, Stephen King, The Dark Half, and The Shining by Stephen King. This, I enjoyed The Shining. I enjoy this book. It's published by Doubleday. Copyright 1977. Yeah, I enjoyed this one. One of the things that you can tell about authors is that the title will be up here and the name will be here or way down here on the first couple of books. And then when they get, famous, that's what it looks like. They go by the name rather than the title. This is Mr. Mercedes by Stephen King. This is part of his trilogy. It's actually the first part. I thought it was okay. Really didn't care for it that much. It came out in 2014. This is the first edition of Mr. Mercedes. This is a movie called book called Bag of Bones by Stephen King. This is his this is a thrift store. I haven't read this one. I actually got this one when in cassette tape, but the tape broke. So, and this one came out in 1998. This one is Gerald's Game. Stephen King actually liked this one. And there is another picture of him on the back. Someone on Instagram put the pictures of him, and just had the book like this. Had about 6 of the books, and you had to guess the title from the picture on the back cover. I thought it was pretty clever. This is by Viking Press and Gerald's Game, and it came out in 1992. But I didn't really care for that thing that appeared in the room. I didn't get that. That's the only thing I didn't get. This one, and it has a tie-in with this one and another book. See if I can see it. Yeah. There's a tie-in with this one and another book. And I forgot the name of that other book. And this is The Dead Zone by Stephen King. And there's a Viking Press. And this is kind of strange. About a kid having an accident. Came out in 1979. And it goes on for page and page and page and page and page of the guy being in a coma. This book is over 417 pages, and he could have just skipped out some of the about 4.5. He was in coma for 4.5 years, and so Stephen King decides to go for like 200 pages of the guy being in a coma. Oh well. Next book I have is Stephen King, The Tommyknockers. No one likes this book. Nobody. And it's Stephen King on that cover. No one likes this book. Nobody. It's rated as one of the worst books Stephen King written. And the reason is, and he said this before, is that he was on a cocaine high when he wrote the book. And so the Tommyknockers, and the copyright in 1987. Late last night and the night before, Tommyknockers knocking at the door. I want to go out. Don't know if I can, because I'm so afraid of the Tommyknocker man. Yeah. This one is collection of short stories by Stephen King called Skeleton Crew. And Stephen King on the back cover, of course, by Putnam Press. J.P. Putnam, copyright 1985. And you have several ones in here. The one called The Mist, which was made into a movie. And a couple of other ones in here that I haven't read. It's not one of those great skeleton short story collections. There are some others that are better. Short story collection. There's one in which has a prequel to the Salem's Lot as Children of the Corn, and has a story about toy soldiers, has a story about it, and has several great stories in it. This one is not it. Oh yeah, and it has a story about something called the Lawnmower Man, with this guy's eating the grass. And this last one, and this will conclude this Gray Storage Bin tour. This last one is Under the Dome, another bad novel. And this is autographed by Stephen King. And I bought it because I wanted an autographed Stephen King book. And I bought it off of eBay. And it came out in 2009. I might just give it away, not sure. But I was looking at eBay one time for his autographed Stephen King book. And they had there was actually one person had an auction going on eBay for the first edition of It. At the same time, somebody else was auctioning off an autographed copy of It. First one, the guy started to bid off at $9,999.99. The second guy started his bid off at $20. I checked a little later on, like 5 days or 7 days later. The guy that had the opening bid of starting bid at $9,999.99. He got 0 bids. The guy who started bidding at $20. Somebody bought it for $465. And there you go. You just don't set up a high price. He should have just set up $100 and could have gone up to $700. I don't know. So that's it. Thank you very much for watching, and take care.